Of the British have included legends such as Barry Briggs, who set up a record of 5 consecutive victories in the 1960s. And Ivan Major, not only a 4 times winner, but 6 times world champion as well, probably Speedway's greatest ever. And of course, Gary Havelock, who's going for 3 British titles in a row and is the reigning world champion. How does he see today's competition?
It's always a very difficult meeting here, as 15 riders who want the title, and it's always one of the hardest meetings of the year, so I'm just going to go out there, give it everything I've got and see what happens.
How much preparation have you got in for today's meeting?
Quite a lot, really. We prepare right from the start of the season for these type of meetings, and we try and build up towards them, and hopefully we can give it all our best shot today.
Who are you going to be looking out against? I mean, which of the other names are you going to be most wary of today?
I don't really look at anybody. I just the way I look at meetings, there's 15 opponents that need to be beaten, and I don't rate anybody above anybody else. So just give it a go.
What about the conditions? Are they suited to you?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cloudy, which is good for speedway, so let's hope it goes okay.
A massive crowd has gathered to watch the riders make last-minute checks and preparations. Now let's join our race commentators, John Davis, and first, Dave Lanning.
These are the trophies that the riders will be battling for as we join them at the start of Heat 1. And John Davis, 17 times a British finalist, will take us through these 16 starters. John, Les Collins from Edinburgh.
Very experienced rider, down in the National League now, but very, very capable of qualifying today.
Dave Mullett from Reading, now he's useful.
Yes, he got injured earlier in the year, but he's come back into form at the right time.
Richard Knight, now he's a fast starter, John.
He's very good from the start, but he also, when he misses a start, he's very, very good from the back. Doesn't take any prisoners.
Martin Dugard, John, must be one of the favourites.
Definitely. He had a good year last year, and I think this year he'll be on the rostrum.
So Heat 1, and they're into the first corner here at Coventry, and straight into the lead. It is Richard Knight in the white helmet. Going with him is Martin Dugard in yellow and black in the quartered helmet. He's in second place. Back in third place in red, it is Les Collins. As they hit lap 2, there are 4 laps to each race. We have 20 races. Each of the riders have 5 starts. You scored 3 points for a win, 2 for a second, and 1 for a third. No score for last place. Apart from winning the title and the trophies, of course, we have 10 qualification places for the next stage, the Commonwealth final. This, in effect, is stage 2 of a 5-stage journey to the final. And it's Richard Knight out in front here. The track is looking pretty good. The weather has been overcast, but the conditions here are conducive to good racing. And Richard Knight, John, as we hit the last lap, really is containing Martin Dugard with some ease here.
Yes, I think the track's maybe a wee bit slick for Martin. He's very, very good from the back, but he does need a bit more dirt in this, I feel.
So Richard Knight, it looks as though heading for 3 points. He takes heat number 1. Dugard is second. In third place, it's Dave Mullett slid through at the back. And so a promising start for Richard Knight. Look at the start again, and normally the outside grids are favoured, John.
Yes, Richard Knight and Martin Dugard have both come off of the outside. Richard Knight's just got the drop on Dugard, and he forces him slightly wide here and just off the racing line.
So there's the result. Richard Knight, the winner of Heat 1, Martin Dugard in second place, and Dave Mullett in third place. Now let's talk to the winner.
Conditions are going to be a little bit patchy for a start until the top layer moves away. It's going to be, some good racing.
All eyes on the rider in the white helmet here, just doing the practice start. Gary Havelock, reigning world and British champion, bidding for a hat-trick of titles, John. He'll take some stopping today.
I think he'll take some stopping all the way down the line. I think he's got to be favourite to retain his title.
So Gary Havelock here, he'll be riding in the white helmet in Heat 2, and we'll look at the opposition. He's got Carl Stone here, and here's a surprise packet, this lad.
I don't really see him qualifying today, though. It's a new experience for him, and I think that's probably what he'll do.
Sean Wilson, he's been around and is a former Coventry specialist, John.
Very fiery little rider, rode here for a couple of years. It was his home track, and I think he'll qualify.
And Peter Carwell, he's done most of his good work in the second division.
That's right, he dropped down a couple of years ago. I don't really see him being a threat to anybody today.
So coming into race number 2 on the inside in the red helmet, it is Carl Stone here. Next to him in blue, Sean Wilson. Grid 3 has Gary Havelock, reigning champion in white. On the outside, it's Peter Carr. Under orders. And away they go, and Havelock Coventry. He really is, what, 1, 2, 3 lengths clear as the field pack up behind him. But this is just the kind of start that Havelock would have been looking for. A terrific gate. Coming into second place there, it is Sean Wilson. In third place, it's Peter Carr. In fact, Carl Stone here is struggling a bit at the back. But John Davis, Gary Havelock made an absolute pitcher start there.
He's obviously a cut above the rest here in this race. He will have been a bit nervous before the first race, but now he's out there, all that'll be forgotten, and he's just got his head down and he's going for 3 points.
Well, we should explain the track length here is 380 metres around Coventry. It's a really custom-built speedway track, very well prepared. The bikes are 500cc. They have no brakes and a fixed gearing. They're capable of acceleration from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. And John, they take a bit of hammer, aren't they?
They certainly do, especially if you're not quite on form. But Gary's doing a very good job of hanging on to that one, and he's got 3 points heading his way right now.
Havelock looking good as he bids for a hat-trick of titles. Stone here has crept through into third place. He'll be happy about that. Let's look at the start and watch the rider in grid 3. John, doesn't he make a flyer?
Yes, he does. Peter Carr lifts off the outside, but then I don't really think Peter Carr was ever going to be a threat to Gary Havelock. And you can see he just pulls away here and goes further into the distance.
Made a really good start. Bike feels excellent, and if I can make some more starts like that, we should be on our way.
Conditions, how did it feel?
Oh, good, yeah, the track was good. It's a little bit bumpy, but good, yeah.
So there's the result. Gary Havelock, the dream start, 3 points for him. Sean Wilson has 2 in second place. Carl Stone here has sneaked through for the odd point, and Havelock on his way. Coming on to race number 3 and looking across the line on the inside in red, David Norris. Could be a spoiler, this boy. Grid 2 has Chris Louis. Grid 3 has Jeremy Doncaster, one of the veterans of the party. And looking down the line, here's Norris. Well, John, he is a bit of a surprise packet.
Yeah, but I think this boy is really one to watch. I think he's got a great future ahead of him.
Well, Chris Louis, son of Tiger Louis, of course, former British finalist. What about him, John?
I think he's a very classy little rider. He's very, very professional in his outlook to the sport, and I think he'll go a long way.
And Donkey, he's an old teammate of yours.
Yes, he is. I'd like to see the old JD, the second JD. I'd like to see him qualify today, but he's had a bit of a bit indifferent season.
Now, what about this boy, Joe Screen? If only this boy could start, he would really be a flyer.
I think he's very entertaining. He's got entertainment written all over him, and if he can put some starts together, then obviously today he's going to have a good day.
That's Joe Screen on the outside. We'll watch for him, but Norris on the inside. Next to him, Louis. Grid 3 is Doncaster. On the outside, Joe Screen. This is Heat 3. And from the inside, Norris has just got the drop and moves them all over as they hit the first turn. Norris really had the elbows flying there. He leads it. Screen is coming through into third place, but it's Norris in front. Screen has moved up into second place. Louis crept through into third place. Doncaster's at the back. That's a surprise. But David Norris, John really gave them the old heave-ho at the first turn.
He was there to do a job, and he did it. He took full credit to him. He took advantage of the situation, but now the work's down to Joe Screen. He's got to chase, and he's not got to give up.
So Norris in the lead, just 20 years old. He is a Sussex boy, lives in fact within walking distance of the Eastbourne track. He signed for them on his 16th birthday and rode the next day. And he's looking really good. And Joe Screen, the reigning British under-21 champion, is not really making any inroads on him.
No, not at the moment. There's 4 laps to a race, and Joe Screen's one of those guys that he's very, very good from the back, and he takes his...
Oh, Norris has made a terrible mistake on that last turn. He's let Screen in. Oh.
As I said, there's 4 laps to a race.
Well, David Norris goes through our picture, beating the air in frustration. He had the race in his pocket, and he just missed the last turn. Look at him, angry. He is one angry guy. Absolutely had the race in his pocket, made one mistake, Screen was through, and you can't afford to do that in a British final. Let's watch the start first, and that first turn. John.
Yeah, Norris has made a good start off the inside here, but whoever that is in blue has got there with him, and he's just moved them all over. If you watch Screen, he's turned back, he's read the situation very, very well, and he's turned back early, and he passes the other 2 guys here. I mean, he was 3 yards behind them going into the first turn, and he comes out of that corner in second place.
But what did Norris do on that last corner?
I think he's probably waving to his mum.
Well, Joe Screen took his opportunity. You only need one slip at this quality racing.
Yeah, I missed the start a bit. I didn't quite get there, and I went on a bit wide and caught back underneath him. And, you know, I thought I was second, but the last corner, I think David Norris went a bit wide, and I managed to just pass him on the line. So
The rest of the day, how do you see it going?
I've just got to make good starts. If I make starts like that, I might as well go home now, but if I make better starts, you know, I should get there.
Have you got much preparation in for today's meeting?
Well, I've been testing most things through the year, and you know, I'm hoping I've, you know, chose the right things today, but we'll see how we go.
Well, there's the result. Joe Screen will be delighted to see that. He wins it. David Norris in second place, Chris Louis third, Doncaster at the back. He has work to do.
3 heats gone in this vital British final. Join us for heat 4 after the break. Welcome back to the Speedway action at Coventry.
And we come into heat 4, and here is one of the men to watch, Andy Smith in the red helmet. Now, he is a home rider, John, and he's a real danger.
Home track specialist, very, very hard. Rides a few erratic corners, but if he can control that today, then he's got to be a big threat.
Now, Troy Pratt, now, he's a first-time finalist, and he's a young lad on learning process.
Very inexperienced at this level, but he'll give it everything he's got and possibly be there.
Andy Graham, he won the title here back in 1982, a fast starter, but a bit of his depth today, John?
I don't think he's out of his depth so much, but I think he hasn't maybe quite as enthusiastic as he used to be.
Well, he's a good old warrior. Martin Goodwin, first-time finalist, but what a goer.
Yeah, he'll be there or thereabouts. An ex-grass tracker, and the track looks like it's a little bit patchy, so it should suit him.
Heat 4, the last of the first round rides on the inside. Andy Smith next to him in blue, Troy Pratt. Grid 3 is Andy Graham on the outside, Martin Goodwin in yellow and black. Heat number 4. Into the first turn, and it is Smith that shows from grid 1. Smith leads it. Oh, brilliant corner from Goodwin. Came from 4th to 2nd, switched down the inside of his two rivals. A really intelligent piece of cornering from Martin Goodwin. But Andy Smith, who of course rides for Coventry, they're top of the British League at the moment, and Andy knows every inch of this Brandon Raceway, and he knows every corner, and he's putting that track craft to very good use here, John, going away in heat 4.
Yes, he is. He's obviously got the knowledge of the track, but then Martin Goodwin's still with him. He can't relax, definitely not at this stage. I mean, we saw what happened to Dave Norris in the last race, and if Mr. Smith isn't very careful, Martin's there.
A reminder that it's not just about winning races. There are 10 qualification places for the next stage, the Commonwealth Final at Kings Lynn in a fortnight, so every point is vital right down the field, John.
Yes, you've got to hang on to every position you've got. You know, and if you can pick up the odd point in a race, one's better than nothing. And when you can qualify for maybe 6 points, obviously you only need to pull a few thirds and then the odd second, and you're there.
Well, Smith in no trouble, well on his way to qualification at the very least. He wins heat 4. Well, let's look at the start again and watch for Andy Smith and Martin Goodwin in yellow, John.
Yeah, Andy Smith's made a very, very good start, minding his own business, but watch the guy in yellow, Martin Goodwin. He's gone here between Troy Pratt and Andy Graham, and he's ridden a superb corner. I mean, that was a class corner.
There's the result. Andy Smith with 3 points, Martin Goodwin impressively with 2. Troy Point gets 1 point, and no points for Andy Graham at all.
I made a reasonable start. I've got to be hard in that first corner, and got away. The track's got a few holes in it. I made a few mistakes, but I kept in front.
There's the lineup for heat 5, and they all now have completed one ride, so there are no conditions. And Martin Goodwin will ride in red, Les Collins in blue. Grid 3 will have Carl Stonehuer, and on the outside Jeremy Doncaster. So Goodwin has 2 races on the trot. He's on the inside, he was on the outside last time, rode a good first corner. There's Jeremy Doncaster, no score, he needs points. Heat number 5. And the outside grids again, it's Carl Stonehuer who goes into the lead. Doncaster is in second place, Goodwin is third, and Goodwin moving down the inside of Jeremy Doncaster. Carl Stonehuer out in front, that's a surprise in his first British final, and looking for a place in the world final. He leads it, and Doncaster has been squeezed right to the back, and one of the veterans of the party, Doncaster, not having a happy day at all. Carl Stonehuer, now John, he was a sensation in his semi-final at Crayley. It was wet, it was deep, and he really was screwing it on. It's not the same conditions here, but he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he's made a start and he's out in front at the moment. Hopefully he won't panic. Martin Goodwin's sitting in behind him. I don't say he's going to be satisfied with 2 points, but if he can get the extra point for the win, then he'll go for it. But I'm sure he's quite happy with 2 second places from his first 2 rides.
Well, sign of the times here. Carl Stone here is still only 20. Martin Goodwin in his first World Final, and behind them we have Jeremy Doncaster and Les Collins, both experienced World Finalists. So let's have a look at that result. Carl Stonehewer gets 3 points. Martin Goodwin looking very comfortable with 2 more points. Les Collins in third. No score for Jeremy Doncaster. He is in trouble.
I made a bad game in my first race. I lifted too much. I chanced it all the same again. Same starting technique. He got me there, and Jeremy Doncaster's on the outside, and I had a good run with him. And I just got the drive coming out of the turn.
Have you got much preparation in for today's meeting?
Yeah, I've got a brand new bike for it. I've spent God knows how long doing everything, and just hopefully it can all pay off.
Coming into heat number 6, Troy Pratt on the inside has 1 point. David Norris has 2, he's in grid 2. Dave Mullett has 1 point, and Gary Havelock, the reigning title holder, opened his account with a race win. He has 3. He's on the outside this time. Traditionally at Coventry, the outside grids are favoured certainly early on, and Havelock made a jet-propelled start in his first ride, but watch him here as they come under referee Jeff Dalby for heat number 6. And again, it is Havelock. Look at that start. Around, chops the corner up. David Mullett almost went into orbit there as he chopped across second place. It is Pratt in third place. At the moment it is Norris, and Troy Pratt almost runs over the back of the reigning champion there as we hit lap 2. Norris has moved up into third place and is challenging hard. He's moved into second place. Norris going through the field, but there's no catching Gary Havelock at this moment, John.
No, he's very, very classy. He looks very smooth and never ever getting into trouble. The other riders, if you watch them, they're hitting the ruts and the holes, but Javi just is riding it as if it's perfectly smooth. That's the mark of a champion.
And he is going away. He's dominating races. He's in command, and as you say, that is the champion. Oh, Norris is a fiery customer, and he won't give up. And remember, of course, he made a terrible mistake on the last corner of his first one. He'll still be angry about that. He's not falling in, Havelock.
I think Javi's got something in hand now. I think he's just riding as quick as he has to at the moment.
There's the checkered flag. Havelock takes his second win of the day. So let's watch that start again with John Davis.
Yeah, Javi's off the outside. He's made a great start. He's lifted slightly, but he's got to cross on top of the others. But Troy Pratt here has really run into Dave Mullett in the first turn. I mean, it's all about being hard in the first turn, and all credit to Troy. He did what he had to do.
And now let's watch as David Norris comes through from the back. He's in the blue helmet.
Yeah, I think Troy got a bit close there to Javi, and I think he maybe got us slightly into trouble, and Norris took full advantage of it.
Well, there is the result. Gary Havelock wins it. David Norris's bravery takes him into second place. Troy Pratt is third.
I was going around the start, and the bike started to like misfire. I looked down, the carburetor was like flooding, loads of fuel coming out, which meant I wouldn't have maximum power at the start, but we didn't have enough time to swap bikes, so I had to get on with it. I missed the start, but there's a bit of a tricky patch down the bottom bend, so I thought if I hang wide, I might make a mistake, and Troy did. I hang with Gary for a couple of laps, but as you can see, I'm totally exhausted, you know. A hot day like this, and you're riding a hard track, hard rides, and it takes it right out of you.
Coming into race number 7, Chris Louis on the inside. He has 1 point so far. Andy Smith won his first race. He'll be in grid 2 in blue. Grid 3 has Sean Wilson wearing the white helmet on the outside. It is Richard Knight in the yellow and black quartered helmet. And just looking across the line, Chris Louis should have a red helmet. It looks more orange or even yellow as they come under orders for heat 7. And there's a flying start from Wilson in grid 3, but Andy Smith keeps around the curve there. Perfect corner from Andy Smith. My word, he knows this track. He leads down into the city bend here at Coventry. Mark going out, right out where the dirt is. In second place, it is Sean Wilson. There's a rare battle going on between Louis and Richard Knight. They're knocking lumps off each other at the back there as we watch Andy Smith carve up the pace up front. This is Smith, and he's looking good, John.
Yeah, he's going very, very well today. I mean, the others are probably getting in each other's way, actually, and that's allowing Andy to pull out quite a cushion. But he's looking very, very comfortable at the moment. Sean Wilson's chasing very hard. And Chris Louis is finding things tough at the moment. He's going to have to lift his performance if he wants to qualify them.
He looks angry about something, Chris Louis. He's been waving his fist.
No, that's his tear-off. That's his roll-off, actually. I just noticed that too. They have a roll-off system. You saw him again then. It's just so they can get clear vision.
So that's a piece of expertise from John Davis. We thought he was angry. He was just clearing his vision. Over the line, and Andy Smith unbeaten after 2.
And looking comfortable.
Very close finish for second and third place. We'll just look at that again between Sean Wilson and Chris Louis. You can see how tight it was. Sean Wilson just about holding on as Chris Louis made one dash down the outside, just inches in that one. So look at the results of heat number 7, Andy Smith unbeaten after 2. Sean Wilson in second place. Chris Louis is third. Richard Knight last place after a first. And they're just preparing for Heat 8, the last of the second round races. Martin Dugard on the inside, Peter Carr, grid 2, Joe Screen in grid 3, and Andy Graham on the outside. That's the way they're going to line up. Dugard on the inside. He likes to start in that position. He's away very quickly. Where is Joe Screen, who's been squeezed out at the first turn? Dugard clear. Screen coming down the outside. Third place, it is Carr at the moment, with Andy Graham at the back, and Martin Dugard and Joe Screen, 2 of the young fire eaters of British Speedway now in contest for race number 8. Dugard in front, not looking as though he is commanding, and he looks to have Joe Screen right up his exhaust pipe here. Screeny, of course, from Bellevue, is a Bonnie Northern battler. Dugard from the deep south. He actually started with lost Peter Carr. He's pulled out of contention. And here is Screen, and Screen looks to be measuring up for a big dive. Dugard can't shake him off as they come into the last lap, and Screen will go down the inside of it here and move him over, and Screen goes powering through and moves Dugard almost onto the fence, and that was ruthless tactic, John.
Oh, it was a good pass. I mean, Martin's looked slow the whole race. I mean, Martin's definitely been holding Joe up. And Joe just lined himself up the corner before, got the extra speed going down the straight, and got inside him going into the pit turn.
So Screen still unbeaten. Well, a triumphant Joe Screen. Let's just watch him go down the inside of Martin Dugard, John.
Yeah, he lined him up on the corner before, and he's just come inside him very, very clean. But obviously the speed that he's got has carried him past the corner, and he's taken Martin slightly wide. But it was a very clean pass.
So there's the result. Joe Screen wins it. Martin Dugard second. Andy Graham is third. So let's hear from Joe Screen, unbeaten after 2 starts.
I made a better start than I did last time. You know, I went a bit wide, and the other guy tried to come underneath me. Martin had already gone. But I was getting a good, nice ride on the outside and trying to come underneath me. I'm more happy now. You know, if I can get another 2 points, I'll be happy. I've got another 3 rides left yet, and only halfway there.
Here's the lineup for Heat 9 as each of the contestants start their third race. Gary Havelock on the inside, unbeaten on 6 points. Andy Graham has 1 point. Les Collins has 1 point. On the outside, Chris Louis has 2 third places to his credit. So Havelock looking immaculate. The other 3 all needing points in Heat 9. Havelock on the inside. Next to him, Andy Graham. Grid 3 has Les Collins. On the outside, it is Chris Louis. This is Heat 9. And once again, Havelock hits the corner first. He really is looking so sharp from the traps. He leads it. Second place, Graham makes a run down the inside. Coming hard around the outside now, it is Chris Louis in the yellow and black quartered helmet. Louis moves into second place. Havelock leads. Coming hard up now into third place, it is Les Collins, and Andy Graham there, former British champion back, nearly 10 years, over 10 years ago. He is at the back, and he's gone from second to last, and he won't be happy about that, but there is no catching Master Havelock. Chris Louis making a fair fist of it, minds. He's buzzing energetically, but John, Gary always seems to be in command. He always seems to have a little bit of extra up his sleeve.
Yeah, he doesn't really look like he's going 10 tenths, whereas the others look like they're riding 11 tenths, and that is the mark of a good rider, isn't it? He always makes things look easy. Any good tradesman makes his work look easy.
Of course, he was a former YTS when he started Speedway. Gary Havelock, as a 16-year-old, son of a famous rider, Brian Havelock, now the manager at Newcastle, and Dad will be happy about that win for Gary Havelock. 3 wins, 9 points, well on his way now. So let's give an eye on Gary Havelock, John, around the first lap of Heat 9. Let's just talk us through the style of the guy.
Yeah, he's made a good start. He's come into the corner. He's so smooth getting into the corner. He turns a little later than the others. Chris Louis hasn't made a bad start off the outside, but Andy Graham at this stage has crept right round the inside. Chris Louis is just coming back at him now. But if you watch Javi, he's so smooth. The others are jumping around, but he's just very, very smooth and in command. When you're on form, you're on form. And at the moment, he is looking very, very good.
So the official result of heat number 9, Gary Havelock wins it. Chris Louis is second. Les Collins is third. Andy Graham has work to do.
Yeah, I felt that in the dirt I had more speed than he did, but it was just too far to go, really, to go around him. I had to go that much further, and I didn't have that much more speed, you know, so I cut back on the line in the last lap and made a load of mistakes and lost all the ground, but obviously happy with second place at the moment, the way things are going.
Can Havelock hang on to that British title? Find out in just a few minutes. Now, before we go back onto the track, let's take a look at the bikes they're riding today. They're very basic, as you can see. Very few controls, the throttle on the right-hand side, plus a kill switch in case of an accident. It cuts off the power. Across the handlebars, the only other control is a clutch lever on the left-hand side. The frames are rigid. The only suspension is this spring arrangement on the front forks, so a lot of vibration transmits itself to the rider. There's no gearbox, just a sprocket at the back, and these are changed to suit the size and conditions of the track. Power unit is very powerful indeed. It's a single-cylinder 500cc engine with an overhead camshaft, and it develops 62 horsepower. It can reach 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds. There's just one footrest on the right and an environmentally friendly silencer.
Looking at the lineup for heat number 10, Joe Screen unbeaten on the inside. Carl Stonehewer has 4 points. Andy Smith is unbeaten. Something's got to give here. And Dave Mullett on the outside needing points. He only has 1 from 2 starts. There is Joe Screen. He's been an exciting competitor. A bit lucky to win his first ride. Battled through in his second. There's Andy Smith, who really has won his first 2 from the start. And Dave Mullett only has 1 point. The old throttle is open and away they go. And into that first turn, it is Smith again who heads it. Second place is Screen. Coming through into third place, it is Carl Stonehewer in blue. But it is once again Andy Smith. And of course, he is a former world finalist in 1989. He scored 10 points in Munich. Out with a very nasty knee injury for part of last year. But he looks 100% now. John, look at him go.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's very... not quite as erratic as he used to be. Well, having said that, look what he's just done.
Well,
just opened the door for Joe Screen, but no, he has looked a lot smoother than he normally does. But Joe Screen him and Gary are definitely the class of the field today, I feel.
And you've got to look at Joe Screen, John, and consider he just doesn't make the starts. And to be a world champion, you really have got to make 4 or 5 electric starts.
You can't win a world final without making starts, and that's something that he's going to have to learn. And making starts isn't necessarily something you can learn. It's like coming from the back. You know, this guy can come from the back the same as PC did.
He almost missed that bottom corner again. Yeah. Oh, hell no. Oof, a close one. Joe Screen's third win. He looks relieved there because he did make a mistake. There's Dave Mullett, who managed to lose contact on the last turn. But there is the wheelie triumph of Master Joe Screen. 3 races, 3 wins. Let's relive it again with John Davis.
Yeah, Andy Smith's made a good start off gate 3, which isn't particularly good here at Coventry. Joe has really given Dave Mullett, I think it is, in yellow and black. He's given him a bit of the old heave-ho in the first corner. But Andy, yeah, Andy got a horrendous problem there. I think there must be quite a groove digging out there because a lot of people are hitting it. I think Joe even hit it on the last corner of that lap.
So there is the result. Joe Screen, the winner. Andy Smith in second place. The first points he's dropped. Carl Stonehewer takes the odd point, and Dave Mullett at the back. Well, it's a terrific crowd here, basking in the sun. The sun's come out, it always shines on the righteous at the British final, and they've come from all over the country. And they're going to watch heat number 11 with Peter Carr on the inside. No score so far. Jeremy Doncaster, no score. He needs points. Richard Knight, 3 points. And Troy Pratt on 2. So all these guys really looking for points. There is Richard Knight. There's Troy Pratt. He's been steady. 2 third places. Young man, son of the Cradley Heath promoter, Colin Pratt, on the outside here in heat 11. The tapes go. And it is Richard Knight again who has made the start. He made the start of his first ride. Bit of a battle developing for the second place here. At the moment it's Doncaster up into second place. Third place is Carr and Troy Pratt at the back. And down there has gone Peter Carr. Just spilled over. No real damage done. The referee, Jeff Dolby, having a good look at it. But you can see that Carr is up. He's okay. There's no danger. The race continues. Had there been a danger, the race would have been stopped. The red light would have come on. But to Richard Knight, there is no problem at all. Unaware of the minor drama behind him, he is leading heat number 11. Funny old day he's having. John won his first, Van Stone last in his second, now he's winning his third.
Yeah, Richard's always been a bit of an erratic rider, but that's taken to extremes, isn't it?
But when he starts, he really gets out quickly, and he's in command. There's a battle is joined for the third place with second and third place with Jeremy Doncaster and Troy Pratt here, and Pratt just makes the dash to the line and just hasn't got the power. So let's see what happened to Peter Carr with John Davis. He just disappeared out of sight.
Yeah, he's come into the corner, he straightens up just here and he's heading for the rider in blue. He's heading straight for his back wheel and he just bailed out.
So the result of heat number 11, Richard Knight the winner, Jeremy Doncaster second, Troy Pratt in third and Peter Carr at the back.
I made a half-decent start and then just going into the bend I just got a bit of grip and lost it really.
Conditions? Anything to do with the conditions?
Not really, the track's alright, I don't know, it's just one of those things. It just happens.
Coming into heat 12, an interesting race because each of the 4 riders have identical records. They've all had second places in each of their rides. Martin Goodwin with 4 points, Martin Dugard with 4, David Norris with 4, and Sean Wilson with 4. So somebody has got to open their account with a race win here. There is Sean Wilson, former Coventry rider, now with Bradford. They call him the Prawn. He's a little guy, and there his clutch, and he'll just see it go. Hardly used it out as they hit the first corner. Martin Goodwin leads it. Martin Dugard coming hard down the inside of him. He's in the blue helmet, but Goodwin leads it. Second place, Dugard. Third place is Wilson. And Martin Goodwin, well, number 13, hasn't been unlucky for him so far because he was one of the outsiders. He is a second division rider from little old Rye House, humble little River Lee track down there in Hertfordshire. It's his first British final, though he's been around for, what, 9 or 10 years now. But John Martin is gliding through to the next round.
He's looking comfortable. I mean, he's making reasonable starts, he's riding good first corners, and he's not doing anything silly. He's picking up points every time he goes out, and he's getting 3 of them in this race, so that's a bonus. And
really, it's a surprise that he's beating Martin Dugard, because Dugard is one of England's outstanding young men. He's a seasoned international now. He tied with Gary Havelock, lost it in a runoff last year. I mean, Martin Goodwin has no right really to be leading Dugard.
You can't say that. Every man that's qualified for this meeting has a right to win races, and Martin Dugard isn't, I don't think, having a particularly brilliant season.
Well,
very good at Eastbourne.
So Martin Goodwin, the 2 Martins there, acknowledges the crowd. He's got a big contingent of supporters here. Look at the start again, watch him on the inside.
Yeah, he lifts a bit about 10 yards out, but he's made a good start. He's not worried about carting anybody else past the corner. All he's doing is riding his own race. Martin Dugard's tried to get up the inside of him here, and he's been hard enough to keep Martin Dugard inside of him. But he's just riding very well, and all credit to him.
So there's the result. Martin Goodwin looks to have qualified now for the Commonwealth final. Martin Dugard in second place, David Norris is third, Sean Wilson at the back.
I was lucky that I had gate 1, and I knew that with the class of riders I had in there, I would have to make the start. Once I made the start, I just kept going. You know, there's no looking back. I knew they'd be breathing down my neck all the time, so it was just head down, arse up, and I went for it.
It's been a good day for you so far. How do you see it going the rest of the day?
Well, I hope it carries on the way it's going. Good.
So let's have a look at the leaderboard after 3 starts each. Gary Havelock and Joe Screen both unbeaten on 9 points. Andy Smith on 8, Martin Goodwin on 7. And let's have a talk to the co-leader.
Yeah, it's gone really well. I've won my first 3 races and I'm making some good starts. Track's drying out now, so it's making passing more difficult, so really got to stay on my toes now.
I've had 3 good starts, really. You know, 3 wins. It's hard work coming from behind, but people's been making mistakes in front of me, so if I can make good starts in the last 2 and, you know, win it from the front instead of letting people make mistakes, you know, I've got a good chance of getting on the roster.
So going into heat number 13, Sean Wilson has 4 points. Joe Screen unbeaten on 9. Troy Pratt working hard has 3 points, and Les Collins has 2, and Les will be looking for points. He's on the outside here in yellow and black. We'll watch for Screen in grid 2. He hasn't made a start yet. He's got Sean Wilson inside him. This is heat number 13. A better break from Screen, although he hasn't got the drop onto the first turn. It's Wilson who leads it, but Screen locks back. Beautiful piece of tactics there from Joe Screen. Went past the corner, locked back, found the hole. Terrific piece of overtaking. Les Collins has slid through very craftily into second place. And third place, it is Troy Pratt. There's some fair old action here in heat number 13, but this young man, Screen, John Davis, he's a clever tactician.
Yeah, he rides very, very good first corners. I mean, we've seen him do it on 3 occasions now, and he's just gone in deep, tucked back. He doesn't panic in the first corner. He doesn't make good starts, but he comes out of a lot of first corners in good positions.
Well, he's leading heat 13, second place Les Collins, having to pick up his act. Remember, 6 points really is the cut. Les has 2, so 2 more here will put him in contention for a qualification place for the Commonwealth final. Joe Screen surely is through now with this, almost certainly his 4th win, unless something untoward happens on the last couple of turns. Joe Screen takes heat number 13. He's celebrating already. Here's the start again, and what's that first turn from Screen?
Yeah, Sean Wilson's made the start off the inside. He started to take Joe Screen wide, and Joe's read the situation very, very early, and if you see here, he's turned back, he's got his wheels in line, and he's got so much speed coming off the corner. Poor old Sean Wilson, he thought his chains had dropped off, I think. I think he went from first to last in about half a lap after this.
So the result of heat 13, Joe Screen, his 4th win. Les Collins with 2 points has put himself back into contention for qualification. Troy Pratt collects another 3rd place, and Sean Wilson no score in heat 13. There's the congratulations, Screen and Collins. And, well, John, you were a bit of a wheelie king as well, weren't you?
You're having a laugh. I used to wet myself when the wheels got off the ground. In my younger days.
So here we go for heat number 14 with Dave Mullett on the inside. He needs points desperately. He has 1 so far. Martin Goodwin has 7. Peter Carr has no score. And Chris Louis on the outside. There is Carr with no points at all of his credit. Chris Louis on the outside. We'll have a look at him. Here he is with 4 points. So looking steadily on his way for qualification in heat 14. Terrific start on the inside from Dave Mullett, and he does need points. Second place is Louis. Third place is Martin Goodwin, who may feel he's done enough to qualify now and doesn't want to risk busting a gut, as Dave Mullett from the Reading Racers, a Kent-born boy. Actually, he's a shepherd by occupation, and he's got his flock here with him today. He's in the lead with the red helmet colours. Second place, it is Chris Louis doing a steady old job. Third place is Martin Goodwin, just doing enough. Well, we saw Dave Mullett earlier on, and he had a couple of untidy spills, but this, if he holds on to this race, could just get him back into the picture. He would then have 4 points, and with 6 being the qualification cut, he could make the late run for qualification. Somebody always pops up like this, John, late in the meeting, don't they?
Yes, they do, and some people always leave it very, very late on. I seem to have done that a lot myself in the past, but Dave's making a good job of getting 3 points from this race.
So David Mullett back with a Commonwealth final place in sight. And we'll watch his start again, and John Davis will talk us through it.
He's made a good start off the inside. I watched him at Poole last week, actually, and he was making good starts there. I was very surprised to see him not making starts today, but he's made a very, very good start there, and he's hung right round the inside. Chris Louis gone for the big lick round the outside, but he hasn't quite done it.
And there is the result. Dave Mullett wins it. Chris Louis in second place. Martin Goodwin third, and Peter Carr having a desperately unhappy day.
Well, we've done a few changes for the interval. I actually thought I was out of it. And they seem to have paid off and made a good start and felt really good.
What changes did you make?
I changed the gearing and messed about the timing a bit and made a good start, and when you're in front it's so much easier.
And they say it doesn't get any easier. Join us and see in a few minutes. At Coventry, so let's get right back into the action.
Coming into race number 15, Andy Graham needs points. He only has 1. Richard Knight has 6. David Norris has 5. He'll be in white. And Carl Stonehewer, he has 5. That's the lineup for Heat 15. Every place now is getting critical. Inside, Graham. Next to him, Knight. Grid 3, Norris. Outside, Stonehewer. Heat number 15 under orders. And it's a pretty even-looking break. As they hit the corner, it is Andy Graham and Richard Knight. And Knight just has the line on the outside. He moves into the lead. Second place, it is Graham. In third place, in white, it is David Norris coming up and challenging hard. But no catching Richard Knight. Once he gets clear, this East Anglian guy really opens the throttle and takes control. Second place, Graham, knowing that he must get points here to have any chance at all of one of those qualification places. He's got David Norris getting under him, and he will move him over. Oh. And Andy Graham almost disappears up into the crowd at the first turn.
I think he was heading for the M1.
He's been moved over here, and now Carl Stonehewer is challenging hard. And Norris has moved into second place. Knight's in front. Just looking at how this will affect the score. A race win here certainly will put Richard Knight in the Commonwealth final on one of his old tracks at Kings Lynn. He wins it. David Norris should be through now. He has a second place. And just getting up there, Andy Graham holding on for the third placing. Let's have a look at the start and first turn again with John Davis.
It's quite an even break, as you can see, but Richard Knight's just that little bit more determined than the others together. He turns a little bit later. Andy Graham started to run him past the corner, but Richard read what he was doing, and he didn't sort of lose any speed through it. He just changed direction just as he went in the corner, and he was that bit more determined.
There is the result. Richard Knight, the race winner. Second place, David Norris. Andy Graham third, and Carl Stonehewer at the back. And we'll talk now to Richard Knight.
Yeah, really pleased. You know, I've got three race wins, and things just get out of breath here. Things seem to be going well.
Any tactics? Just getting out in front, staying there?
Just get out in front, yeah. One bad race, a tappet adjuster and the engine broke off and I lost all my power, but that's one of those things.
You're still within a chance. How do you think it's going to go the remainder of the day?
I think it's going to be tight, but I think with 9 points now, I think I should be sort of certain to qualify at least, but now it's sort of, if I can get into the race, win, finish on 12, it'd be nice to finish on the rostrum.
Well, coming into race 16, and this one is something very, very special. Jeremy Doncaster on the inside has just 2 points, but Gary Havelock is unbeaten in grid 2. Martin Dugard is a spoiler in grid 3, and Andy Smith has only been beaten once. So it is Havelock and Smith to watch for. Havelock is in grid 2, which isn't very fruitful as a rule here at Brandon. Heat number 16. Something's got to give here. Havelock's missed the start, first time today. It is Dugard who gets away, going hard after him. It is Andy Smith, and Doncaster is third, and Havelock must make his move on these bottom turns as Smith goes around the outside. And oh, there's some trouble at the back there. Doncaster seemed to pick up Havelock as Habby was going by. Havelock's arm came up, and he's lost, what, 20, 30 lengths here. And this is little short of sensational in Heat 16. Andy Smith is up front, unaware of the unfolding theatre behind him. Martin Dugard is second. Gary Havelock seemed to be balked. He seemed that he'd stopped. He realised the race was going on. He restarted again, but he's lost an awful lot of ground, although he's beginning to haul in Dugard now. But John, how did you see that incident on the bottom corner of the first lap?
Well, Doncaster seemed to hit that same rut or bump that everybody else had been hitting, got out of control and just ran into the back of Gary. But and Gary, I don't know whether he felt the race should have been stopped or not. I don't think it was the sort of thing that you should stop a race for, but it obviously delayed him.
Havelock's unhappy. You can see him gesticulating at the ref there. He's definitely one unhappy guy.
Yeah, I'd be unhappy too, but that's racing.
So let's watch the start again, and Havelock makes a real hash of this one, John.
Yes, he does. Dugard's made the start. He's dropped across Havelock's front wheel there, and Andy Smith's the one, though. He's out in the dirt. He's got his wheels in line, and off he's going.
And let's look at the incident again. We can see the battle up front is between Smith and Dugard, but let's watch the pair at the back.
Doncaster picks up about here. He's out of control, and he runs straight into Gary. Just there.
Well, there's the result. Officially, Andy Smith wins it. Martin Dugard is second. Gary Havelock, surely his dreams of a hat-trick are now over. And Jeremy Doncaster, who caused all the trouble, was a non-scorer. And down in the pits, the natives are getting restless. Gary Havelock going to speak to the referee, Jeff Dalby. His promoter there is Alan Ham. Let's look at the incident again. This is the battle up front with Smith and Dugard. Coming into your picture now. Here's the trouble.
Yeah, as you can see, Doncaster's run straight into Gary there. Gary's put his hand up straight away, shut the bike off and looked back, expecting the race to be stopped.
And it's going to be interesting to hear what Alan Ham, the Bradford promoter, has to say to the referee about that.
Hello, Jeff. Jeff, there's no rule in the book saying you can't stop a race at any time of a race, you know, and I mean, that was totally unfair. I think, yeah, he's got that round his arm. What you mean if a rider picks up and wraps his bike round his arm? Yeah, you're just taking a race, you're just taking a race title away from the kid now.
Referees don't change their mind, and an unhappy reigning world and British champion. Heat number 17, Les Collins needs points. He has 4 on the inside. Peter Carr hasn't scored and may well drop out of this one. Andy Smith is in grid 3 and he's only dropped 1. There is Andy Smith, and David Norris has a total of 7 points. He's on the outside. In fact, it is the supplementary reserve, Chris Clarence, coming in blue for Peter Carr, who's had a terrible day. Really of little consequence there. We'll look for Smith, who can wrap up 14 points here. Will surely put him on the roster and might just be enough to win the crown. On the inside, Collins has made the initial run, flourishing briefly on the inside, but here comes Andy Smith in white. Third place is David Norris in yellow and black. That's the order as we go into lap 2. And it is Andy Smith beaten only once by Joe Screen. Now 14 points. Only Screen could catch him and overtake him if he wins this one. Smith in front. Second place, Collins just doing enough here with 3 points, 2 more here. Rather 4 points, 2 more here. 6 could just about squeeze him through, but Andy Smith, the Coventry crowd, his home crowd of course, are right behind him here because Andy Smith is in front. There is Les Collins, of course, one of 5 racing brothers. His older brother Peter was world champion back in 1976. Les was second in 1982 behind the legendary Bruce Pennell. But Andy Smith is going to win heat 17. 14 points, his total. Will that be enough? So here is Andy Smith taking the lead, John, and Andy has done a terrific job this afternoon.
Yes, he has. He's been very, very consistent all afternoon, obviously winning 4 races in 1 second, but Les Collins has chased him and made him work hard all the way in this race, but he's never once panicked or put a foot wrong.
So there's the result. Andy Smith finishes on 14 points. Might be enough to win. Les Collins should go through, David Norris should go through, and Peter Carr a non-finisher.
Well, I made a decent start, but not that good a one. I had to be hard in the first corner and moving out a bit. And just trying to keep calm and keep the bike going. Rest my arms down the straight. 2 on the trot, it takes a bit out of it. And I've got a bad shoulder at the moment, which no one knew about. I never told anyone. I think I've got a cracked shoulder, but I never told nobody.
Everything going according to plan now then?
Yeah, everything, yeah.
Tomorrow, keep your fingers crossed and hanging out.
Hoping Joe drops maybe a point or 2 and then I'm in the run-off.
So they're all important now. Jeremy Doncaster has 2 points. David Mullett has come back from on the ropes. He has 4. Sean Wilson has 4. And Andy Graham has 2. So it will be Mullett and Wilson looking for points here. Here is Sean Wilson. Started promising after 2 second places. Has had run 2 last. He'll make a dive for the first turn here. Andy Graham on the outside. Jeremy Doncaster on the inside. And Dave Mullett in grid 2. So it's a very even break. Something's got to give here. Down into the corner, it is Sean Wilson. Wilson got the big heave-ho there. The race continues. In front, it's Mullett. In second place, it's Andy Graham. In third place, it is Doncaster. Oh, and Graham is all over the place. He hit the rut. He picked up Mullett. Sean Wilson is aggrieved. He feels he got an elbow at the first turn. Our replay will show that, I'm sure. John?
Yeah, just to confirm, the race has been stopped, and this is the first incident. Andy's made the start off gate 4, and in my view, he's perfectly entitled to come across like that.
And what happened to Andy Graham?
Well, he's hit that dreaded rut again. Here, you just see the front wheel lift there, and he catches the back of Dave Mullet and high sides it. Quite a nasty... It's not... It's an awkward crash to get off of. You're trying to get off the bike before it hits the fence, you know. It's that's how you hurt yourself, doing little things like that.
Well, the medics quickly to hand, and poor old Andy Graham, former champion, has had a desperately unhappy day, and this really puts the wrappers on it. Meanwhile, back in the pits, Alan Ham, the Bradford promoter, and Sean Wilson's boss, is a busy man again.
I fell on his own. What did he do then? What did he do then? Did he
goes to the first corner and falls on his own.
He fell on... Are you saying, Jeff, because I'll give this to press, you're saying to me then he fell on his own accord, did Sean Wilson? Yes, that's what you're saying, because press around me now. So, yeah, you're saying he fell of his own accord, did Sean Wilson? What did he fall because of? Was it a big hole in the track? Or did he hit a big lump?
No, riders do fall off occasionally on the road. You know that with the race.
You just made a statement to me there. His own accord. Well, we'll look at that on the video after the meeting. I believe that.
We're trying to get it
I'm talking a lot of rubbish, am I? I doubt if I am, Jeff. I think you're a referee that like a lot of rubbish, to be honest.
Well, here's the incident again, John. Did he fall? Was he pushed?
No, I don't think he was. Andy's come across quite legitimately, and I think, he was in a tight situation, and I think he bailed out.
Well, there's Andy Graham. Fortunately, we hear he is not seriously hurt, although he's taking the stretcher ride back to harbour. But what does Sean Wilson think of it all?
Well, it was just like, all four of us made like a really good start together, you know, like nobody really made a start all together. And just going into the corners, everybody just got locked together, you know. It was like, I was nearly off my bike before I got into the corner, you know, like with elbows and everything. But it was just racing, you know, like nobody did anything on purpose or intentionally, but like, just weren't enough room for floor into the corner, you know. It was like just unsatisfactory start, really. And I can't really understand that. I think Andy Graham was still wobbly from bleeding that corner as well. That's why I crashed the next one. It's like, I don't know why the referee just didn't stop being all far back. It was like, it's made a really bad mistake, and I think referees they should go under like an examination as well. You know, it's not, they can't just come and make a decision like that when first corner bunch, and you always get out of British final, you know, everybody's going for it, and you know, the crowd are eager to see four riders and want everybody to get through, all the riders do it. If you've got referees like that, and like, I'm sorry, but they should go through a cross-examination, I think, you know.
Two very unhappy contenders for the British title, but it's not over yet. Find out who'll be crowned champion after the break.
Well, here is the riders for the rerun. Only two starters. That's Jeremy Doncaster and Dave Mullet in red and blue respectively. Mullet gets the start into the first turn. These really are by nature of gift points for him. Only two starters here. Andy Graham has been excluded from this rerun because he was the cause of the race being stopped, and the referee has said because Sean Wilson wasn't under power when the race was stopped, he is excluded as well, John.
Yeah, I can see his point. I can also see Sean Wilson's point. I'd probably be a bit aggrieved and still be saying the same things as Sean if I was Sean, but it's racing, it happens, you get good decisions and bad decisions, but Jeremy's not pushing Dave too hard.
Well, of course, we should point out their teammates at Reading, and the situation is that if Mullet wins here, he will really have come back from the grave because he was
qualified,
and will have qualified because 7 points rather should get him through. Doncaster has no chance; he's only got 2, and charity begins at home, as they say. Mullet is comfortable in the lead.
A bonus point.
Well, there we go, and there's the checkered flag. David Mullet has been the resurrection shuffle specialist here. No chance at the interval. Now he should have qualified. Jeremy Doncaster is out and does his mate a favour there. There is the results. David Mullet goes through surely on 7 points. Jeremy Doncaster is out and no third place. The other two didn't start. And now the crowd really are on their toes and expecting, because heat 19, Andy Smith is watching it, because Joe Screen could be the champion here, but if he drops a point, Andy Smith is back in contention for the British crown. There's the lineup. Richard Knight, he's no mug on the inside, 3 race wins. Joe Screen has been unbeaten. Martin Goodwin is through, and Gary Havelock, there is Screen in the blue helmet. Gary Havelock, who ran that 3rd place controversially last time out. He could be a real spoiler. How will he recover from his disappointment? Heat 19 will watch for Screen, and he's missed the start. It's Havelock away on the outside, and Knight on the inside. The 2 gating specialists have got the drop. Goodwin is last, but Joe Screen is at the back as Havelock powers around the outside of Richard Knight. Terrific cornering from the world champion. He's surely opened the lead. Where is Joe Screen? Screen's back in 2nd place. Knight is holding on, and Havelock swings high, wide, and handsome out into the dirt. He really is going as though his life depends on it. Still Knight on the inside. Where is Joe Screen? Screen's making the run. He's got to get up into 2nd place to force a run-off with Smith for the title. Havelock can finish on the rostrum, but can't win the crown. But he's certainly spoiling Joe Screen's chances here. Havelock in front, going for it. 2nd place, still Knight. What a spoiler. 3rd place, Joe Screen. Now, can he produce a party piece again? 3 times he's come from the back. Well, a lot to do here in Heat 19, and this could make Andy Smith the British champion if they stay in this order. And Havelock will force a run-off with Screen for 2nd place, and Havelock wins it. Screen is only 3rd. We have a new British champion, and he's won it in the pits. Andy Smith. The crowd are on their feet saluting Havelock. There's a lot of Coventry fans here today, of course, and there is the new champion, and these are moments for him to savour. So we have a new champion of Britain, Andy Smith, as the celebrations continue in his pits. He goes across to thank the former champion, Gary Havelock. He hasn't won the title, but he certainly won it for Andy Smith. We'll look at the result there. Havelock wins it, goes into a run-off for 2nd place. Richard Knight qualifies. Joe Screen is in that run-off, and Martin Goodwin is last.
Fantastic, brilliant. I can't believe it. I suppose it won't sink in till next week. I was just praying in that last race that Gary and Richard could beat Joe. Brilliant.
Talk me through that last race. How did it go?
Richard made a real good start, and Gary came around the outside, and Joe was on the inside. He couldn't get. They were riding virtually side by side, trying to push each other, and Joe hadn't know where he could go. And the track's got pretty slick now from when it started, so it makes it harder to pass.
We're celebrating tonight. Anything lined up?
Well, we never even thought about it, so I suppose we'll have to celebrate now.
Well, we may have a new title holder, but there's still a lot to race for. We're coming into the final heat. Heat 20, Carl Stonehewer needs points. He has 5. Troy Pratt has 4. Chris Louis has 6. And Martin Dugard is through on 8. But all these riders are really looking for points. Dugard should be safe on 8 points, but the other 3 all need critical points if they're going to qualify for the Commonwealth final. Heat number 20. The flying start. Looks like Dugard might just have the chop on the first turn. He leads it. 2nd place is Stonehewer. 3rd place in white is Chris Louis. And that's the way they battle down, with Pratt at the back in blue. As we go into lap 2, and Martin Dugard, one of the anti-post favourites for this title, has been comfortable enough. He's had 2nd place, as this would be his first race win if he could hold on here. Dugard from Eastbourne, of course, from the famous academy down there of the Kamikaze Kids. Now back with Eastbourne. A rare old battle for the last point going on between Stonehewer and Pratt, and that could be critical because they're both just on the fringe of qualification. 2nd place, Louis will go through if he stays in 2nd as they go around the pit corner. Dugard still in front. Louis looking for a route, trying inside and out. In 3rd place it is now Pratt, with Stonehewer at the back, and again that could be important. And they're all tightening up here. Dugard, well, just doing enough. 2nd place was Louis. He should go through. Pratt gets up, and that could be important because that makes him level on points. There's the result. Dugard's through, okay. Chris Louis is through, but Pratt and Stonehewer have finished level, and they could contest the runoff for the reserve berth. Confirmation that this man, Carl Stonehewer, will race a 4-lap runoff with this guy, Troy Pratt, for the reserve berth in the Commonwealth final. There's the overall result. Andy Smith is the winner on 14 points, the new British champion. Joe Screen and Gary Havelock have finished level on 13, and they will race off for second place overall. But first, the reserve race off with, in the red helmet, Carl Stonehero, and in the white helmet, it is Troy Pratt. Here is the runoff for the reserve berth in the Commonwealth final, and it's a very even break. Troy Pratt just has the better line. Stonehero going down the inside in red. Of course, these are both first-time British finalists. And of course, John Davis, the reserve berth is quite important because anybody can get injured on the way, and these guys can go in through the back door.
Oh yeah, anything can happen between now and the Commonwealth final. There's a few weeks of racing to go, and racing's a dangerous game. Nobody likes to see anybody injured, but obviously it's definitely a possibility, which opens the door for one of these two.
In fact, we should say that back in 1989, one of the Australians, Troy Butler, was actually eliminated 3 times, and 3 times got in.
3 times he got in through the back door.
So Troy Pratt with everything to go for, and Carl Stonehero will make one last effort on this last lap with the diagonal flag showing there is just 380 metres to go. But Troy Pratt, in his first British final, has done a workmanlike job, and Stonehero, after a bright start, including a race win, looks like he's just going to be pipped. Pratt wins it, he goes forward to Kings Lynn. And we'll look at the start again because it was the critical moment.
Yeah, Troy's made quite a good start off the inside. Stonehero's come across right from the outside, but Troy just hasn't moved over for him. He's just done a workmanlike job as he's done all day.
And so back to the line for the runoff for second place overall, with Joe Screen here in the red helmet colouring on the outside, and Gary Havelock on the inside. Havelock beat Screen critically in their last ride in the meeting, but now they have a 2-man confrontation for second place. Havelock should move him right out if he gets the drop. Into the first corner, Havelock moves out, but Screen is not to be shifted, and Screen is right out in the dirt and is just going to squeeze through as they go shoulder to shoulder into the third corner, and Joe Screen it is who breaks into the dirt. Gary Havelock has just not got enough power there as Joe Screen from the Bellevue Aces leads Gary Havelock from Bradford in this runoff for the second place, and there's a lot of pride and passion out there, John.
There certainly is. It's definitely a very hard race. They're both very determined to win it, and they'll chase all the way for 4 laps.
We look at Joe Screen, possibly a potential world champion. He'll have to learn just to gate a bit quicker, one fancies. Gary Havelock, well, he's had a terrific record in major meetings. I think this is something like 11 or 12 he's finished in the first 3, which is a marvellous record of consistency. And although he's no longer British champion, he will be satisfied that he's qualified because his world championship trail is by no means finished.
Yeah, and he's been here and he's done a good job, and I think he was slightly unlucky not to take the title again today, but that's racing.
That's racing, and Joe Screen will take second place. Gary Havelock on the rostrum. England teammates, of course, as the international season unfolds. There is Joe Screen doing a spot of rodeo work in celebration. The final placings, first Andy Smith on 14 points, and Joe Screen wins the runoff with Gary Havelock for second place. Now here's Joe Screen.
When I dropped the points, you know, I was a bit nervous at the start line. I missed the start, and the track got a little bit slick and I couldn't do anything. But I had a good run off. I come from the outside and I just had the run on the outside, which was over the moon.
I understand that appeal went in your last heat, or the one where there was a slight controversy. What happened with the appeal? Was there any outcome with that?
Well, the referee wouldn't even answer the phone, so it just shows the, you know, these people some of these people are mindless, and you know, it's a lot of these meetings do, you know, most of the time the best rider wins, but sometimes the referee can really make a difference in a meeting. But I'm really happy for Andy. He deserves it. He's had a lot of bad luck in his career, and I've known him for a lot of years, and I couldn't wish for a nicer person to win it.
A very happy and not a little surprised new British Speedway champion Andy Smith heads for the rostrum, helped on his way by a touch of glamour in the shape of a Madonna lookalike and a glamorous gladiator. The home fans of Coventry certainly have plenty to cheer about today. So from me, John Chaplin, John Davis and Dave Lanning, it's goodbye.
own accord he showed me, was it?
Fantastic, brilliant. I can't believe it. I suppose it won't sink in till next week.